Yeah, yeah.
Happy Friday, everyone out there, especially
Woo,
Padre fans,
woo.
as that game just went final. Savor the flavor.
Yep,
Playoff series win.
that's right.
You know what? You know where we stand as Dodger fans, but long time coming. Happy for you guys. And
Yep, very true.
please
Absolutely.
do the polite thing and get swept by the Dodgers. That would really be helpful for me. Really helpful for the Dodgers pitching staff. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Be good for my mental health too.
Yeah, shout out to all the Padre fans out there and everyone that I work with and around over there. A cool deal. They've been having a good turnout too at these tailgate things in the parking lot with the big screen. I know Callan, our
Callan,
stats and research department, was there a couple days ago, and had actually talked to a couple people today at the bank that went down there as well. So nice to have that. Fans can't go to the game. I know that sucks, but at least while they're there at Petco, and I think they're going to continue doing that when they go into the to the bubble area for the next rounds. But welcome in, Padre fans or not Padre fans, sharing a little bit of your Friday night with us. A lot of sports to get into. Another big weekend. The only thing that sucks is we don't, hockey's over because there was an awesome overlap for a while where we had baseball almost in the playoffs, basketball playoffs, hockey finals, NFL going at the same time. But we got a little spoiled off that, so no worries. Tyler, how are you doing this evening? And I guess what are you looking forward to this weekend? I know we're going to dive more into that, but
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been awesome the last few days, just kind of having baseball on pretty much all day. I know today there were only two, um, and actually, kind of this weekend is going to be weird because there's only one series going on in basketball. They're going to be off tomorrow and playing Sunday. Baseball's not going to start back up until Monday. But luckily we got college football going. We got NFL going for the time being. We'll see how that works out in the future. We got soccer going, international soccer. You got the Premier League, pretty much all the big European leagues starting up. So still a lot to see. Of course, NASCAR playoffs as well. We are as being the NASCAR show of record here on the 14 Network. So still plenty of stuff going on. Got a fight night tomorrow as well. We'll get dive into that a little bit later. But still looking forward to a good weekend. Ronnie, how you doing today?
Well, I just knocked a bunch of stuff on my table over here, but
That's
beyond that, all good. No, busy day at the bank. As you know, Friday, first of the month was yesterday.
Yep.
I don't really much like to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. But it was fine. It was fine. But I'm happier here to be with you guys, talking some sports. Real quick, I want to hit the comments. Shout out to Nick, who's actually sort of in the studio audience, I guess, tonight. Suck at mosquitoes. Believe it, brother.
As always.
You know where I stand on that one.
That's right.
Well, there's only two permanent signs on this show, and that's one of them. It's looking a little haggard these days, I gotta say. I might have to make a new one.
Well, I think it is the oldest sign, so yeah.
That's the OG for sure. That is the OG.
It's weathered, it's seasoned,
and also he's very happy that the Yankees will be in their bubble in San Diego. So
true.
You won't get to go see them, but you can know that they're near you, and I guess be reassured by that, Yankee fans.
There you go.
But let's go right into it. I feel like we should probably just start with baseball.
Makes
sense. This point, we had the A's winning a playoff series finally yesterday, so they're going through to play the Astros. So a lot of intrigue there. Carlos Correa just continuing to be a huge dickhead, and pretty much universally getting blasted by everyone with his, "Well, we're here now. What are they going to say about us now?" Even though they beat the Twins, who have lost 18 straight playoff games. Yeah. So that's,
and as we said the other night, you beating the Twins in 2020 does not negate previous cheating. That I don't know what your argument there is, but okay, sure, whatever, Carlos, do you?
I'm excited to see that A's. I know the Barons probably nervous. A's fans, anyone's nervous if it's your team involved, but I'd take the Astros. Like, they beat the Twins, okay, so what? Like, a lot of teams beat the Twins. Plus, no Verlander to worry about. Cole's gone. Don't have that number 1-2 punch, and plus pitching's going to be crazy in the bubble anyway. But they also had that little dust up earlier in the year with Laureano, which is pretty great. So there's a little history there. It was funny too. Hendricks closed out the game for the A's yesterday, and they were interviewing him after the game, I think on, whatever it is, Comcast or whatever the local A's thing is. And I always forget that he's Australian until you hear him talk, and it makes me laugh. And he had the mask on, too, so it's just like, hear this Australian voice come out. We'll show him who the top dog is in the AL West.
And we just lost all our Australian fans with that.
Sorry. We're here for you, though, Japan.
This is true.
I'm rooting for in the Asian Cup of Nations, or I'm combining the two. What that tournament's called, but you know what I'm saying. We got your back, Japan.
Yeah. So we are through the first round, the wild card round here. It was so the matchups we got here going into the I guess it is still called the division series. We got in the AL, you got the number 1 seed Rays taking on the Yankees. So a nice battle of the. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's all divisional battles. You got the Yankees Rays playing in San Diego. You got the A's and the Astros playing in Dodger Stadium. So definitely A's, you got to win there because you can't let Houston win in Dodger Stadium again. Then in the NL over in Arlington, you got the NL West battle between the Dodgers and the Padres. And then in Houston will be the NL East battle between the Braves and the Marlins, who did sweep the Cubs today, which I'm actually kind of wondering why we're even playing this, because we all know if the Marlins get into the playoffs, they win. They've literally never lost a series in the playoffs. They've only been there twice. They won twice. So got to be concerned with that. But people may notice here, I mentioned that there's a lot of East and West battles, no Central battles. The Central divisions had 7 playoff spots. Here we go. We see Trevor Bauer was commenting.
Well, tweet that did not age well for the old Bauer outage there.
Didn't age well at all. There were, kind of a lot of talks about how the Central divisions were really just a bunch of bad teams kind of beating up on each other. And they went 0 for 7. In fact, combined 2 for 14 in the 2 wins, 14 losses in the wild card rounds for the Central Division teams. I hate to really look into it because it is hard to judge anybody on a 2 out of 3 series. Baseball's so random. It's not a good measure. But at the same time, when all 7 teams in Central Divisions lose, there's something to it.
That's not a good look. And speaking of that game today where the Cubs got taken out, the Miami Marlins, if you don't know, get down because they have one of the best social media follows of any official team account.
That they do.
This is going back a couple of years now, but they hit them with the 10 out of 10 chiropractors. Do not recommend sleeping on the Marlins. And then posted up in Wrigley Field smoking cigars like that one. And also fly the upside down W, I guess.
Fly the W upside down, yeah.
So that was a nice little job there by the Marlins. Always jealous of them compared to the Padres. Being around their official team social media, which was super buttoned down and not allowed to post anything cool like that. But let's talk about the Padres. We had the offensive explosion last night. Tatis gave us one of the all-time greatest bat flips that I've ever seen.
It was so good. Good.
To rival Joey Bat's level when he was on the Blue Jays. He threw that thing. I think it's in low Earth orbit right now, still somewhere, circling the globe. But we do have a caller here on the line. Looks like a Padre fan. Let me throw it over to the Sabores Colombianos Celebrity Hotline. Joining us internationally from Bahrain, we have Christopher Gonzalez. Gonzo, how are we doing this evening or this morning for you?
Yeah, it's about 5 in the morning here, Ron.
Well, glad you stayed up to see the win and also make time to call the show. Like I said, I think long distance wise, this is the most ambitious call that we've ever pulled off.
Yeah, we're about 10 hours ahead, about 9,000 miles.
Yeah, I've hosted the show from going down to 5 freeway. I've hosted it from Mexico, but this is a tough putt for us. This is a new, our global reach is expanding with this one.
Hey, the only way you're gonna get bigger is like Australia or Japan. You go a little further, I guess.
Japan, you know how
we're working on Japan. We're working on that one.
We're the Japanese sports show of record. Shout out to the NPB.
I'm supposed to be in Japan next year, so hopefully maybe I'll call you from there too.
But they know
There
all
we
about
go.
us in Japan. Just say that you're friends with me. You can get anywhere you want. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until the Padres beat the Dodgers here, huh?
Well, I knew it was going to come down to that, so let's talk about it. First of all, maybe, because the Dodgers always find a way to make me sad in the playoffs. But I feel like I'm more confident in this circumstance because of the Padres pitching currently.
Michigan sucks.
The way, man, I don't know if you heard that from inside the house. Amanda coming in hot.
Philadelphia Eagles won 1 Super Bowl, and now we got the biggest fans in the world.
Well, it's not working out so hot for them this year, but we'll leave that for the NFL segment. Please, a little decorum here, please. Sure.
Yes.
Anyway,
Unless Padres pitching can figure something out, I don't know.
Because it's going to get weird when you go into that bubble with no travel days. So it's just a game every day, and you saw already. Stammen started the game today, and he pitched like an inning and a third, and they took him out or something like that.
How many pitchers did the Padres use today? 6?
I don't know.
I think it was 8. It was 8 or 9 actually.
And they did pretty well this year in the bullpen games with guys, when guys were hurt or whatever. But it's going to get tough. Fortunately for Kershaw, kind of helped him out by going 8 innings last night, so save some of that bullpen. But every team's going to, even teams, the staff's fully healthy because of the way that this is going to be played out every day, back to back to back. It's going to get weird, and I think that does put the Padres at a disadvantage. But, it looks like we'll bring it in here a little closer.
Trip over this.
We have the
But to answer your question, the Padres, the final count was,
there we go.
9
Shout
pitchers.
out
There we go.
Shout out to Nick.
We got a White
Nick
Claw
coming
here.
in with the White Claw drop.
Official
Air
sponsor.
Not
Hey, if White
sponsored.
Claw-
Not yet.
If they want
but,
if they want to, they can.
There you
we
go.
can set that up. White Claw. Good people over there.
Hey, let
For
me ask you a
refreshing
question.
times. Turn to White
How
Claw.
do you feel about this shortened season? We were talking about it out here. We actually kind of like it a lot better.
In some ways, I like it. I don't like it to be permanently that way, but it was cool that it, Tyra and I have been saying it kind of felt like just a tournament the whole time. Because if you go on like a 2-week losing streak, you might just be asked out. But it's also kind of cool that all these playoff series are division series because I feel like it's just an extension of that same tournament. So you have all these teams that played each other a lot during the regular season, even when they weren't, really traveling coast to coast or anything like that, trying to keep teams in sort of the same areas. And then you have the rivalries. Padres play the Dodgers a bunch of times. Marlins and Braves play all the time. Yankees, Rays. I mean, we're going to see some cool stuff there. I still don't want to see this format happen again, hopefully. Knock on outdoor coffee table here. But it was a cool experiment. I thought for the most part it came off well. Maybe it was karma for the Cardinals because they were the first team to have that major Rona outbreak and forced everyone to play a bunch of stupid 7-inning doubleheaders, which also I hate. And I don't really like the universal DH either, or the guy starting on second base in the extra innings. But they're trying to, get these games over with so they could get everyone to play 60 games. So I get it. It seemed like it worked pretty well. And I think we still got a good playoffs, that we're looking at here now that we're in the division. So pretty excited about it. Padres are a dangerous offensive team, but I just hope the Dodgers can beat the hell out of their pitching. I'm just going to say that. Tyler, also a Dodger fan. I'm going to we got to get Tyler's take on this. These teams played a lot this year. What are you feeling about this, Tyler?
Yeah, it was. They played each other 10 times this year. Dodgers won 6 out of the 10 games. Most of the games were very close, outside of one where the Padres just went off. Dodgers pitching had a terrible day. Padres went off, which, that's one thing. You can't have an off day against this Padres offense because they will make you pay. I will say the same thing about the Padres pitching. They can't have an off day against the Dodgers offense. We saw it last night where, Woodruff was having an amazing game. He was dealing against the Dodgers, but then that second, third time through the lineup, they start hitting. And it's going to be a fun series. I'm looking forward to it. I know most Padres fans hate the Dodgers. I think a lot of Dodgers fans don't really kind of have a strong feeling one way or the other against the Padres.
Let's be honest.
I'm glad that they're competitive. I'm looking forward to it for the next few years. I think it'll be a fun series. Of course, Homer me is going to say Dodgers in 4. because I believe it is a best of 5 series. It's a best of 5 series. I'm not saying a sweep, but
That's
I
a
don't know.
He's
gentleman's
been
sweep.
drinking. He's been drinking.
I
wish.
have been drinking.
I wish. What about you, Gonzo? What's your prediction?
I mean, I'm not really until they allow Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame. I'm not really supporting baseball, but if I had to pick me a
Okay.
team, it'd be the Padres, just because I've lived there for about 5 years now.
And yet you call in internationally to troll me and say the Padres are going to beat the Dodgers.
Now, I mean, if I don't really have a baseball team, but I've lived in San Diego for 5 years, so
Sure.
I'd have to say I'm from New Mexico. There ain't no damn professional sports out there, so I'd have to say the Padres since
Isotopes?
I've lived there.
Well,
You got the Isotopes, right?
I'll say
Yeah,
this.
out there in El Paso or Albuquerque.
I worked
Yeah.
for the Padres for 3 years, and it felt like 30 years because they suck.
Sell out.
So I'm happy that they're doing well. I'm happy for everyone around there because it's time to get some wins in here, and I think they're going to be good for years to come. Like Tyler said, I think they're good. Diamondbacks are in chaos.
Well, as long as they
Giants
don't.
kind of were weirdly like punchy underdogs all season, but they fell off, and they're totally rebuilding anyway. And the Rockies, whoever knows, because they play in that crazy stadium.
As long as the Padres don't do what they're notorious for and trade out all the good players they have, they should be all right.
Well, they got to lock up Tatis. I think you get him. Machado's going to be around. Machado has an opt-out, I think, 5-6 years into the deal, something like that. But if they're winning games, he's not going to leave. He loves living in San Diego. And they just got to – I mean, it's just bad luck, period, as far as going into the playoffs, what happened to their pitching. But I think Paddock will get a little bit better as he gets a little older. We talked about that on this show before. I think he's just a little too emotional, like high and low right now, but he'll probably grow out of that. So he looks like he can be pretty good. Could definitely use a third or even a fourth pitch, but hey. It's nice to see the Padres doing well because I've had to sit there until 2 a.m. and they're just getting blown out. And it's like, this sucks.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So I am happy for Padre fans, but I do hope the Dodgers brutally beat them down. But if you want to bet on it, we can hook something up.
Yeah, I'm a betting man. We know that.
They got Venmo out there in Bahrain.
No, I'll be back.
Oh, all right. It's a collective.
Oh, he wants an in person. Okay.
No, I'll be back in time for me to be live on your show for the Padres playing the Yankees in the World Series.
Oh, okay. All right. Come on. We did actually. Speaking of Nick, tonight's White Claw assistant here, he did comment earlier. He's calling it right now. Yankees Padres bring back 1998. So could be stirring up some echoes there. I don't know.
There you go.
Hey. Well, I'm about to head off to bed. It's good seeing you guys doing well on this show. I'll talk some nonsense to you later.
Thank you again, Gonzo. Like I said, we
we
set our
appreciate it, man.
long distance record for sure, about 80 times over with this one. So that's a new milestone for this show. But thank you. Be well, and I'll see you when you get back.
Y'all have a good night.
All right.
Take it easy, Gonzo. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Again, on the Saboris Colombiano Celebrity Hotline. 5132 University Avenue. City Heights, home for fine Colombian cuisine. And a great friend of this program. But so that's what we're looking at in baseball. Like I was telling him, I'm excited. Kind of, this whole season's been weird anyway. So why not have these divisional, all in division matchups? Like, teams know each other, they don't like each other. Maybe Padres and Dodgers kind of indifferent towards each other. Didn't seem to have any real, dust up there. But like A's Astros, can't wait to see that. Yankees Rays, Braves Marlins, a lot of history there. So I think it'll be cool to see that. Yeah,
no, it's definitely some fun matchups. Definitely a lot of story-driven matchups going into the to the division series, which I think is ultimately what MLB wants. Is like, okay, let's.
Yes.
Granted, MLB is terrible at marketing anything, but if they were to market something, they could use these division storyline matchups. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. I'm still sticking with what I said before the season started: Dodgers Rays World Series. But we'll see how that goes.
Well, there's one guy out there that could, hopefully he's listening to your advice there. Market this. I know you guys lost your ass by not having fans at the game, so market this thing up. Let's get some eyes on the TV here, baseball. No better time than now.
Well, they're trying to make up for it a little bit with the series, the NL series in Houston and Arlington, where they're going to allow something like 11,000 tickets to be sold.
I saw it was around there, 10,000, 11,000, something like that.
Our good friend of the show, Jeff Elms, and just good friend to us, was actually texting me the other night saying that I should come out there, and I'm not completely against it. I got to check my schedule, but it'll be different having more fans in the stands now. I mean, actual people there instead of cutouts and crowd noise. But we'll see how it plays out.
11,000 fans too. That is like even the Astros, they were really bad until they got really good because they blew the whole team apart. That was like the whole Lunau plan, or some of these previous Padre teams. So it's going to be funny when they turn off the artificial crowd noise because there's actually fans there, but you could still pick out like individual people heckling probably in the World Series. Could be a little interesting. I'd like to see that.
It could be fun.
Let's go over to the football now. Right off the top, actually, let me pull these in there. The situation that is really developing, just bigger picture for the NFL right now, is the Titans getting the Rona, and then subsequent days of testing, more and more people having it, to where now the Steelers game that was going to be this weekend, we talked about, they were thinking about maybe putting it on Monday. Didn't work out. Now it's just been pushed back to later in the season. So maybe like both teams are not going to have a bye week now.
This is their bye week pretty much.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts in your quarantine. Yeah. Mask up on your bye week. But this is where it gets super weird for the NFL because you can't just have teams not play for 2 weeks, like with the way the NFL schedule works. That was this morning, like 5 a.m. Pacific time. So then shortly thereafter, you had the cancellation, and then Schefter comes back again and says they moved it to week 7, 1 p.m. on Sunday. But you really can't afford that many of these because all the shuffling, we're going to do this game on Monday or even Tuesday. It's just going to screw everything up for everyone involved. So maybe 1 or 2 more of these, and it might blow the whole thing up because I don't know what you do as far as like, how are you going to set up the playoffs? There's no, baseball came up with their like Band-Aid thing of we're going to make them play all these 7-inning double headers. Can't do that in football. So
can't do that.
Going to be interesting. And also, I have to say the fantasy implications for the Derrick Henry owners out there. Very high draft pick in pretty much every league.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. I think on one of my teams I was kind of having week 7 bye week blues, so this actually kind of helps me with now that Derrick Henry will have a week 7
COVID
game.
Bowl. Oh no.
But it's to your point. If this doesn't get wrapped up before next week, if the Titans have to miss a second game, that's going to screw a ton of things up because, like you said, you can't do 3-quarter doubleheaders. You can't do any doubleheaders in football. That's just not physically. It just physically can't be done.
That's how they used to do it in the 1800s.
That's right.
Two-way players.
Fielding Yost.
Doubleheaders.
Fielding Yost. That's right. You never left the field. Doubleheaders, playing both ways. No water, nothing. But no, I mean, if you have to reschedule games, like your only hope is if you have to do it, that both teams have the same bye week, because then you can just say, okay, you're not playing this week, you're off this week, and then you'll play, whatever week 12. So it's a rough situation. This is something we were all concerned about. Is they're not doing a bubble like. They were piggybacking off baseball, but again, baseball has a lot more flexibility. If we can do doubleheaders, we can do short games, this and that.
And they play every day, so you can
Yeah, NFL you play
once a week.
NFL, if you get a crap schedule, you'll play twice in a week. Like maybe you get like Sunday, Thursday. Like that's if you get a crap schedule. So yeah, it's I'm kind of nervous going forward to see what happens. Again, hopefully this, all kind of gets worked out. I did see something earlier today that kind of one of the contingencies the NFL had wanted to do, but I don't think they actually did, was they were going to have like a bubble where they would keep 100 players that are currently not signed to be like, hey, look, if you know 5 guys on this one team get COVID, you need 2 receivers, a lineman, or whatever. You can call on some of these 100 guys that we have kind of locked away. Now I don't know how many guys want to do that for 17 weeks, without the promise of even getting on an NFL team. So I don't think ultimately did that, but I don't know. It's going to be a tough situation if this gets worse before it gets better.
Stay close to your phone, XFL guys. Don't want to miss that call.
Hey, XFL, come back 2022. The Rock says
it's coming back. The Rock says. The Rock says. No,
the Rock says.
Let's get into the less, doom and gloom part of the NFL. Yeah. Well, we had a Thursday night classic last night. The Broncos and Jets.
We did. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't watch it. I'm going to be honest. I don't personally know anyone that watched it. I saw the highlights. Looked like it was a pretty good game. Until about 5 minutes left, and the Jets just melted down, as they are wont to do.
I don't know if it was good, but it looked entertaining.
It looked entertaining, yeah. Sam Darnold hit the big run, which, as you know, Crazy Eyes Adam Gase, a.k.a. Vampire's Kiss Adam Gase. The Psycho Eyes. This was the best tweet I saw of the night last night. I think this was a Pick Six podcast. Last year, Gase hitting the smelling salts, and combined with his eyes, that is terrifying. Woo! Ah!
Gosh.
My man is out of his face right there, and he might be out of a job soon because the Jets are really bad, and the end of that game was perfectly Jets. They had a bunch of personal fouls. He even had Vic Fangio running his team into the tunnel, refusing to shake hands. He thought there was going to be maybe some, back and forth between the players, and he was probably upset with the whole Jets staff at that point, and he just wanted to get out of there. The thing for Gase is, we were talking about this a little bit before the show, it's like, who else do you hire? The Jets are so bad, and they're probably going to get the number 1 pick again, maybe the Giants, but also, do you take Trevor Lawrence at that point, knowing that he's just going to get ruined?
Assuming Trevor Lawrence doesn't decide to go back for a year when the Jets get the number 1 pick.
If I was Trevor Lawrence, I'd be going straight back to school. If I saw that, I'd be like, nah, dude, I'm going back to college. Forget it. I'll be fine.
Clemson's pretty good. I don't need to go to the Jets.
If you're the Jets, you've got to trade out. I mean, they had guys. I was watching the highlights. I was like, who is this? Like, I don't even know half of these guys. And they're always in the first round, like in the top 10. And it's just like, where's all the talent that you should have been building up this whole time? The NFL's all about parity. I mean, I'm not going to say the Raiders are good, but they're somewhat decent on their day now. So even the Raiders, from the darkest bottom of the bottom, they're okay now. They're okay. Yeah. So teams all the time go from having the first overall pick 3-4 years. Hey, they might get in the playoffs. The Jets, I don't know. But you have to trade back out of that first pick because you got holes all over the field. I don't know what they're going to do, but good luck with that.
Yeah, it's a bad situation. I saw another tweet. Actually, it might have been Shannon Sharp, now that I think about it. Sent out a tweet basically saying, look, this team just went out against a winless team that had a short week, that had to fly east, that's missing their quarterback.
Like their third quarterback at this point.
Yeah, missing 2 quarterbacks. Excuse me, yes. Missing their number 1 receiver. Melvin Gordon's their number 1 running back. I mean, that's not a good sign. And you go out and you give up 37 points to them. Like, that's just, we said it. We said it last week about the Falcons' Dan Quinn. I'm not one that is here to say anybody should be fired, especially in our economy as we are right now with COVID and everything. But you got to hold people to task, and he's just absolutely lost control of everything. So.
Yeah, and the way the game ended was really damning because it was like, okay, you're losing. Sucks, whatever, we're going to lose again. But then they just completely unraveled, and guys were just like personal fouls, like probably going to have fines involved for like the helmet to helmet on the quarterback.
Yeah.
And it was just like not a good look. I mean, it just seemed like a guy that has no control over the team. I don't know how much longer he can hang on to that because again, I don't know who else there's going to be to take over that team at this point, but
Yeah.
not great. So that was the Thursday Night Classic. Thank you,
And
NFL.
also, I do want to add in one thing is it's either their next game or the game afterwards they have coming up, Kansas City. So
Should be good.
if you're looking to bet that one, and again, please remember, anything we say here is for entertainment purposes only.
Of course. Put the disclaimer
But
out
I
there.
would strongly recommend whatever the line is between the Jets and the Chiefs. Take the Chiefs on that one.
Yeah, and maybe just even go huge on the over.
On the over, yeah.
Just Chiefs going to go mega huge in that one. But let's talk about some actual NFL teams. Here's the schedule for Sunday. Sunday during the day. This is the red zone schedule, let's say. Nothing really jumps out. I know Dan Patrick has some sneaking suspicion that the Dolphins might just scalp the Seahawks. Not so sure about that, but could be one of those weird games that happens all the time. Not too optimistic. I mean, the Raiders are at home, but since they're all running around Las Vegas with no masks on, getting fined by the NFL left and right, Buffalo's also very good. Not too excited about that. Good. Kansas City, New England. That's probably the best one I'm looking at here. Still think the Chiefs, they're at home. But New England's been better than I thought they were for sure this year. They're still a well-run team. You know, Belichick, the taskmaster, just looking homeless, plus his son with the crazy mullet holding things down. But that's probably the best of the day game matchups I could see right there. Chargers, Tampa Bay, too. I mean, but we all know Chargers will probably be winning that game with 5 minutes left and somehow find a way to lose. I don't know. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah. No, hey, I accept it. There is a couple that jump out to me here in the morning. That Indianapolis and Chicago could be interesting. You know, Chicago going with Foles at quarterback. Indy's had a great defense. Outside of that second half slippage against Jacksonville, Indy's looked pretty good. Chicago's undefeated as well. So that one I kind of got my eye on. Another one, just for different reasons, is the Minnesota Vikings at Houston. Both teams are 0-3. I think to a lot of people's surprises. Now, Houston, you can chalk it up to they've just had an insane schedule the first 3 weeks. They had Kansas City, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. All teams undefeated. That's just a tough stretch. Granted, you got to win those games if you want to be a real contender, but still. Minnesota, I had high hopes for them. I think a lot of people had high hopes for them. And they've just been 0-3. So that's one I kind of want to keep my eye on there. I think that could be interesting again to see how those play out. And, of course, you mentioned New England, Kansas City. Kansas City has looked really good so far, undefeated. New England has looked really good as well. Only losses that to heartbreaker to Seattle. So that could be a pretty good matchup. And I'm going to keep an eye on the granted, it's because I have Josh Allen as my quarterback, but I'll keep an eye on that Buffalo-Las Vegas game as well.
Well, I don't think you have that much to worry about as far as Josh Allen having a stellar fantasy day. I'm just going to say that. But prove me wrong, Raiders. Prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Also, just to put a button on that Houston-Minnesota game, I wouldn't even say this is like save your season because they're both in such a big hole already. But has that DeAndre Hopkins trade ever looked worse? Like every passing week, it just looks worse and worse. And also as a Deshaun Watson fantasy owner, it looks terrible.
Yeah, who would have thought trading away a top 3 wide receiver would have a negative impact on your team?
Man, I did not see that coming.
Yeah, you know, Bill O'Brien. Sometimes you just you miss on things. That's all. You know, it's
shoot or shoot. He was just taking his shot.
Right. Yeah, he took a shot, man. Can't blame the guy.
Then Sunday night we have the game that very well could end up in a misunderstanding in my house with the Eagles and the 49ers going at it. Could be unpleasantries flying around. I don't know, but Eagles definitely need a win. Not overly optimistic about their chances. Sorry, Amanda. Especially going to San Francisco, but we'll see.
I mean, San Francisco still has half their roster injured, so
you got that.
Eagles might be able to take advantage of that, but who knows? I don't even know at this point.
Actually, Schefter today did also confirm that Garoppolo and Mostert are still not playing. So Kittle apparently is going to play. Who knows how right he is, but he's going to be back, so that helps out the 49ers. But, yeah, we'll see what happens there, and especially what happens in my own household because we got Eagles and 49ers super fans just going at it. So
Some-
let's keep
some
it civil.
Some furniture is going to be moved. We're going to be out here broadcasting on Monday, and you're going to get a chair thrown at
Just
you.
ripped across.
Yeah.
I prefer when it's just a gentle drop off of a White Claw. Like, oh, okay.
No, things might start with White Claws and then just end with bars just getting.
It always ends in broken noses and tears and who knows what else.
Yep. All right, well, let's jump into the NBA. Of course, the NBA Finals going on right now as we speak. We got Game 2. Last I saw looks like the Lakers were up by about 9 with about 10 minutes left of the game. So, props to the Heat. I mean, they're missing Goran Dragic and Bam Adebayo today, which is just 2 pretty brutal losses for them. Those have been 2 guys that have been really good for them, especially in the playoffs. But looks like they're sticking around. It's still a lot closer than I thought it would be. I kind of thought the Lakers might run away with this game. They are. I think I did see that Bam is expected to be back by Game 3. Dragic, don't know yet. But tough break for them. But you know what? You got to roll with it. And like I said, it looks like they're sticking around as best they can.
Yeah, I was just trying to get a most up-to-date score here. Let me see if I grab that.
111-101 is what I just got on a refresh on my phone.
Oh, well, Tyler's ahead of me, so thanks for stealing my thunder. But hold on, that was 9 minutes and, well, let's just say 9.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter at the time of this screenshot. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Heat. Just the injuries in the first game is pretty rough. I mean, Jimmy Butler's not going to quit. He got hurt in the first game, and he still came back out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Dragic especially really hurts them. And I just don't think they have the dogs. And to be quite honest, yes, I'm a Laker fan. Happy that it looks pretty positive for them, but I think we're seeing the Heat's best punch with all their guys, so that's a little bit of a letdown, especially since they were so fascinating in the bubble, just by taking everyone out. Speaking of the bubble, and this is still not confirmed, but this was the other day after the debate, allegedly. Hassan Whiteside, a.k.a. Young Whiteside, a.k.a. Young Chef Side, as he named himself in the bubble, allegedly tweeted this out. I can't do this for 4 more years. I'm moving to Hawaii.
Hey,
he's denied it. I don't know, but that did happen. So we'll see.
He's that's I mean, I think he can't choose between Hawaii and Alaska if he wanted to leave the country. So that's he went with Hawaii. But Chef Side, love you, Chef Side. Not the most intelligent sounding tweet, but hey, still love you, man.
Hey, he brought us. We in that Disney.
We in that Disney,
We in that Disney.
That wasn't his fault. He typed in something else, but he had that goofy internet.
He got that goofy internet.
It just messed up the tweet.
But hopefully it wasn't him. But I would, like I said, I'm not totally shocked and surprised if it was.
There was some other news that kind of broke out the last day or two that I did want to just kind of briefly touch on here, which was there was a recent podcast here between Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who, as a lot of people know now, are teammates on the Nets. Kyrie made some interesting comments. He was talking about being on the same team with Kevin Durant, and he said that he told Kevin that he's finally playing next to a real playmaker and playing next to a guy that can make that big shot, which, of course, everybody at that time was like, you played with LeBron. You played with LeBron James, the best player of the game, arguably maybe not even arguably a top 5 player of all time at this point in time.
Took out the Juggernaut Warriors with LeBron on your team.
Yeah, exactly. So then when he was asked about it, Kyrie kind of, instead of just, kind of maybe justifying what he said, he basically just said, hey, why are you guys trying to turn me against LeBron? Why are you putting all this clickbaity stuff out you? Which he put the clickbaity stuff out, not everybody else. So, Kyrie, guy's an amazing player. Not too bright. Not the brightest guy in the world.
Yeah, he's, as we all know about the theory that he still will not confirm nor deny whether the Earth is flat or not. He sort of walked that back at the time, but still didn't walk it all the way back where he was saying, I'm just saying I don't know. something like that.
Which is a funny statement from a guy that flies all over the place.
He
Like,
is
you
in
sit in a
planes a lot.
You can see the curvature of the Earth when
Yeah.
you're in a plane. So
Well, maybe every time he thinks he might fall off, every time he's up there, it's really stressful for him. I don't know.
could be it. Who knows? But yeah, I just thought it was funny. You know, I did see somebody asked LeBron about it. He just kind of waved it off. He just said, "Hey, Kyrie's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing." And of course, LeBron, honestly, this year he seems more focused than ever in the playoffs, which has been which I really enjoyed seeing. You know, you love when you can see a all-time great player that is just absolutely focused on the task at hand. Like I've seen, he's been getting on guys when they're like goofing around on the sideline, and he's like, "Dude, we ain't won nothing yet. Like, let's do this. Let's focus up." So, you know, LeBron saying the right things as he usually does. But I just thought it was kind of a funny scenario again. Kyrie, sometimes just
a little out there.
Read the room. Know when to say things.
I get it too because the Kyrie Durant era has not really taken flight yet because of them being hurt and stuff like that. But trying to hype up your teammate, Durant is still a top 5 player on earth right now for sure.
Absolutely.
Like whenever he comes back. But yeah, I think LeBron is pretty much brushing that off. And I was kind of thinking about that today. I feel like he has been really locked in, focused, and I think it's sort of a combination. This is just my speculation, but for one, he's been pretty outspoken about, yes, it's very inconvenient and it sucks being like away from our families and everything in this bubble. Can't really do anything. I think he at one point said, I invited my kids when they could come, and they basically said it would be too boring for them to come, and they didn't want to come.
Fair.
And I think also a little bit of that is because he was one of the 11th hour guys when, ironically, Kyrie had sort of this like players movement going, like, should we even go? Should we sit it out? And he was really pushing for it to, we can have this platform to talk about the social injustice things. And he knows he has a pretty good chance at winning a title. So maybe just him being sort of one of the driving forces and like pushing this thing across the goal line as far as like, yes, we're doing the bubble thing for the whole league. Maybe that has just added to it. But unfortunately in this series, the Heat are just decimated. They're still going to go down swinging, but I just don't see any way back for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, these guys have been locked. Granted, LeBron's room is a lot nicer than the other rooms that people have been locked.
The palatial suite, I'm sure, yeah.
But he's still been, locked away for 2 months from his family, from kind of everything he knows. So I could definitely see where he's like, look, man, if I have to be locked away this long, I've got to get a championship.
I'm going all out, yeah.
Like nothing else makes this worth it. So I do think that, that is kind of a driving force for him that he's using to get this title. And again, it's looking good for him right now. I mean, you definitely can't count out the Heat, but it's looking pretty good for them. I'll say that.
The Heat are down 10, 7.5 minutes left.
There we go.
The last update I saw.
All right. Well, this weekend we do also have on Sunday, speaking of playoffs, we do have the second race in the second round of playoffs for the NASCAR Cup, as we are the NASCAR show
of record.
But they will be in Talladega, which can only mean one thing: restrictor plate racing, which means there will be a ton of crashes because nobody can pull away from everybody else. So could be a long bit of a slog of a race there out on the Talladega Superspeedway. Kind of interesting to see what Kurt Busch does. He's already got his his automatic qualifying spot from winning last week in Vegas. Be interested to see. It's kind of hard. It kind of sucks for the guys that are kind of in the back of the pack because it's not like you can really go for it because now you've got the restrictor plates on. So you
until the end.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
you always have that. There's always the big one, like the drivers call it, and usually it's at the end when it's
with less than 10 laps left.
The guys that are in the top 5 still have a chance to do some kind of move there, and then there's just some massive crash when some guy tries to like check up or get in front of a guy and basically cuts him off when it was never quite there. Yeah. So then all of a sudden the guy in 17th place is like, yay! So
that's true. That's true. That like if you can't be in the very front, then you want to be in the very back at the end of that race. Just hanging
safely outside the super mega danger zone.
So yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that one on Sunday. Again, NASCAR playoffs winding down. Of course, the next week they have the last round of the Stage 2 playoffs. They'll be in Charlotte. where I'm sure a lot more action will happen when people get a lot more desperate for that last qualifying spot.
Yeah, the combination of the restrictor plate, the big crash, always the ever-present threat, and especially at the end, because of this playoffs, if there's guys up there that really need it, it's going to get weird.
Yep.
Check here. Tyler the Thunder Stealer. See you, Jaime. Thank you. Backing me up. Swooping in with his live updates on his phone. I don't have access to my phone, and he just does that to me.
Sorry, man. Also, did want to give a shout out. I guess we kind of went a little bit out of order here because we were talking football earlier, but got a nice slate of games in college set up for tomorrow as well. Just kind of a few that jumped out at me. Shout out to Braden, our TCU guy and our Big Ten correspondent. TCU will be at Texas, who of course is back, as we all know. Thank you, Ronnie.
Right in the green. You can see on the reading, it's right there in the green. So it could be a long day for TCU, but it is a Big 12, so it's probably going to come down to the last 2 minutes somehow in a weird shootout that no one totally knows what's going on.
Yeah, that one's going to be going on. I think they kick off at 9. Also in the morning, we got one that kind of caught my eye was just a couple mid-majors that usually put out good teams. I think both are undefeated this year as well. Memphis will be at SMU. That could be a fun game. Those two kind of always put up really good teams in the non-Power 5 conferences. We also got Texas A&M will be at Alabama. A&M is ranked 12th. Bama's ranked 2nd, I think. I'm sure in the end, Bama will stomp them out, but you never know. A&M does seem to give them fits from time to time, so that could be an interesting one. We also got Oklahoma at Iowa State. Be interesting to see how Oklahoma bounces back after their seemingly annual loss to a team they should roll over.
Their signature early season loss that gives them enough time to climb back up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lose one game early, run the table the rest of the way, and get that playoff spot. That seems to be their MO. Another one I want to keep my eye on is Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas is not good, but Mike Leach is in there, and if he put up 60-some points against LSU, I'm curious what he'll do to Arkansas.
Yes. And then
then
after that, is the next week the Mississippi State Alabama game, or is it might be a couple weeks?
I think it's a couple weeks out. I'm not sure. I need to look at the schedule again. But I know, yes, that one is coming up. Then I think probably the big game tomorrow, can be tomorrow in the evening, is Auburn at Georgia. 2 top 8 teams, I think they are. Big SEC battle there. Those usually turn out to be pretty good games, so I'll be interested in keeping my eye on that.
Yeah, and shout out to Rob. Good luck in that one, War Eagle. Hopefully your boys get it done. But should be a good matchup, getting some of these SEC powerhouse teams coming together. I mean, I wouldn't quite put A&M in that combo, but still a very capable team.
A&M's just weird because it seems like they either get blown out by Bama or they upset Bama. Like they just have this weird thing where like every couple of years they just have that whatever that weird trick is where they give Bama fits. So,
can we just fast forward to the Mike Leach versus Alabama game? I'm just going to call it that. I'm not going to incorporate Mississippi State. Costello, just a guy throwing for 1,000 yards a game.
Exactly, yeah. It's almost like it's one of those old Spurrier offenses where they just throw like crazy.
Just put me or you back there. We're going to probably rack off 300-400.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it does against Bama. I mean, I know Bama won pretty big last week. I didn't get to watch too much of their game. It's always such a watch to it. Bama's going to be good no matter what. But, it'll be I'm really looking forward to seeing how Mike Leach does. Look, we already saw him beat the national champs, so let's see how he does against the perennial national champs.
The whole season in the SEC is going to be a joy just because of his presence.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and also this weekend, tomorrow night, we do have a fight night with the UFC.
We'll hit the fights real quick. This is, I believe, a free one.
It is.
On
it's on
ESPN.
Yeah.
So let's hit the fights real quick, just to put a button on that. Let's bring in the fight doctor, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is the main event of the evening.
the heavyweight champion of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like we got to get you one of those old school doctor things with the little reflector thing on the top. So when we come back from the intro, you're just wearing it all of a sudden, like a gown and that.
I was actually literally like, as the intro was going on, I was thinking like, I need to like find some scrubs and like maybe I could put a surgical mask on.
Yeah, just like an old, like totally not something a doctor would wear now. But I mean, just go to like the Halloween spirit store and grab one of those guys.
Yeah, there you go. I might have. Actually, that might be a plan for me too. But yes, so we do have a fight night tomorrow night from Fight Island. It'll be free on ESPN. Main event, the Island. The main event is a women's bantamweight fight between the former champion Holly Holm and Irene Aldana. I did see, kind of looking at it, Holm is a slight favorite in this one. Of course, she's the former champ, but ever since she won the title from Rousey, had a bit of a rough patch. I know she lost 3 fights in a row, and then she's kind of been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. She's definitely got the more impressive resume over Aldana. Aldana's a fun fighter. She doesn't finish a ton of fights, but she's pretty fun. I think in this one, and again, we do have to say, anything said here is for entertainment purposes only.
Please believe that.
And if you do have any gambling issues, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get the help you need right now.
If you're taking betting advice from us, you need that help.
Well, after the show, then call. I mean, you're fine. I don't know how much trouble you can get in the next, 7 minutes, right? It can't be that bad.
I think in that one, I might go with Aldana. Just, Holly Holmes, she's kind of getting up there. I think she's 38 now. Again, hasn't really looked good since she knocked out Ronda Rousey. She's the fights that she has lost have been to good fighters. I'm kind of losing faith in her more and more kind of each fight I see. So I think of that one, I'm going to go Aldana with the slight upset. Co-main event, we got a heavyweight battle between Yorgan de Castro and Carlos Felipe. Castro, last I saw, I think he was going at like a -240 favorite. People might remember de Castro, his last fight was against Greg Hardy. It was a very, very frustrating performance by de Castro, and by that I mean he did nothing the whole fight. Yeah. He did nothing. Carlos Felipe, I haven't seen too much of him. I think he lost his last fight in the UFC. Unless de Castro has a completely different game plan, I'm going to go with Felipe just because when I've watched him fight, he tries. He does something.
There's that.
So, I'm going to go with him for the upset just because of that. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, de Castro. Come out and do something.
Just
please, I'm begging you to come out and do something. Then another fight on there I did just want to kind of touch on briefly. There's another women's bantamweight fight here. Germaine Durandamy and Juliana Pena. Durandamy is a slight favorite. Pena, I think this is going to be her first fight in like a year and a half. I'm going to go with Durandamy. I mean, she always gives a pretty good performance. She's had some tough losses to some really good fighters. I mean, ring rust is a real thing. I think it's going to affect Pena. I expect Durandamy to come out there and that fight.
But enjoy it for free. You don't have to pay, shell out for the pay-per-view or ESPN Plus.
Absolutely. Look, you got no NBA game tomorrow. You got no baseball game. You got no hockey. Just put it on. It's free. Put it on and have fun. Enjoy the fight.
What am I going to do when college football goes off? I don't know.
But, so that's going on in the fight game this weekend.
Thank you, Fight Doctor. We look forward to maybe some costuming in the future. We'll work that out. The next production meeting, we'll come up with something.
We'll see if the if producer tonight lets us spend a little bit of the budget.
Oh, that's gonna be a hard stop for sure.
That's a hard no already.
Don't even ask. Just make it, or that's it. Make it yourself, or don't even ask.
She's a tough one. That's why she's the best in the game, though.
That's keeping us on task.
That's right.
But that pretty much wraps it up. We got a nice weekend here, getting ready for some playoff, divisional playoff baseball. Mm-hmm. So now we're getting more to the normal format here. But shout out to the Padres. I mean, it's nice to welcome back. Been a long time coming to get into some little bit of a playoff run here, win a series. So, and also I hate the Cardinals, so it's win-win for me.
Yeah,
if they
magic out of there.
Run out and win the first 2 games against the Dodgers, I'll be cursing every player on that team's name. But let's hope that doesn't happen. So enjoy San Diego. You guys, I would say you deserve it to have a winning team here. It's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't have anything else this weekend. So, Ronnie, any last words before we get out of here?
No, you guys have a good, safe weekend. Enjoy the sports we have, college football, NFL. We don't have to worry about anyone accidentally seeing the Jets anymore on Red Zone. When it switches over to the
They're
Jets
not
game
going to
for
be
some
on
reason.
Red Zone.
Well, they're getting scored on, probably.
Well, okay, fair.
And then you see, Adam Gase pop up on the screen, and you immediately have the urge to gouge your eyes out because it's so terrifying.
Oh, God.
So we don't have to worry about seeing him pop up on Red Zone. So enjoy your Sunday morning games. But, yeah, go Raiders. That's all I'm going to say. Beat those Bills. And wear masks, for the love of God. You guys can't keep getting fined. It's out of control.
Actually, one thing I'm looking forward to seeing is I'm sure you saw the photos of the Raiders' first home game, how they had fans out there outside the stadium in lawn chairs, which I'm like, I love that. That's amazing. That's awesome. So
people brought TVs and watched it outside.
Do that if you're in Vegas, but please wear a mask. Please maintain social distancing.
Especially if you're on the team, though. Seriously.
That's
because
true, yes.
They're already into the NFL's into them for like $400,000 right now. Gruden ate like $100,000 for not wearing it or, not on the sideline or whatever. And they had some like charity dinner thing, and it was like a whole bunch of players just out there with no masks on. So you can't even say, no, that wasn't me. We're like, I'm pretty sure it's you. Like,
it's you, yeah.
We're just going to find you because we know it was you.
The Shaggy defense doesn't work. You can't use the
It wasn't me.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I hope you guys have a fun weekend. Stick around here on the Quarantine Network. We do have the book club for TV with Patrice coming in. I don't know if she's going to be doing another episode on the Haunting of Hill House. I did enjoy earlier this week. She said Bo wanted to talk about that. Love that show. Fantastic show. If she's talked about that again, I'm definitely watching. Did I hear somebody call me out over there?
Yeah, Nick said bye.
Oh, see you, Nick. Thank you. But, so stick around.
That's Nick. Thanks for the white
Stick around. We got the book club for TV coming on. We love you guys. As always, you know the drill. Keep the fire.
Keep the fire.
As a buzzer.